What's up, y'all? This is TheNaturegirl30 here, and this is my double review of the 2 episodes of Loki. I do believe the first episode is called The Divine Purpose, and the second episode is called Variant. If I'm wrong, I will correct it in the thumbnail or what have you. But anyway, the fact is that I am very confused when it comes to this entire series. I've watched both episodes and I'm still confused. But let me talk about the first episode and just give my own thoughts about it in my own personal review. Now, I actually did find it kind of interesting to see the recap of Endgame and the whole time heist and everything, and seeing where Loki disappeared to. But then there was a time variance, or the time cops, that came out of their dimensional square only to capture Loki, because Loki was not supposed to flee. Loki was supposed to stay there. Okay, sure. That was the one thing that kind of got me scratching my head a little bit. So you're telling me that, okay, you're supposed to be doing this, and let's say you get sick. Let's say you end up getting the flu or some sort of virus and you're off work. You become a variant for getting sick just out of the blue? Things happen. Things are supposed to go right and left. So you're telling me if you sneeze, if somebody sneezes on you, you get sick, you're off work, you become a variant. Or if you go left instead of right and you're supposed to go right, you become a variant. That sounds a bit controlling to me. I'm just saying. But other than that, I think that's what makes it a little bit interesting when it comes to the first episode. Because everything is supposed to happen to the almighty sacred timeline. Everything's supposed to go this way. Everything's supposed to go that way. Up, down, you name it. It's supposed to already go in that direction. So when Loki escaped, he ended up becoming a variant, creating another timeline branch. So they end up having to completely reset the entire timeline, capturing him and bringing him to the Time Variance Authority. Now, Miss Minutes is by far one of the chief people, or the chief, I guess, hologram creatures of this entire series that I absolutely love. Tara Strong is probably one of my favorite voice actresses, especially the fact that I am a huge fan of MLP, and I do believe that she voiced Twilight Sparkle, if I could be wrong. But other than that, she's one of my favorite voice actresses. So it's great that she's actually Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes has a bit of a southern drawl. Nothing like that, but anyway, she has a bit of a southern drawl to her, which I find it kind of cute. But the whole idea of timelines, the whole idea of everything being wrapped up in one giant long sacred timeline, I'm like, are y'all trying to retcon your stuff without retconning your stuff? That's kind of what I saw when I saw the first episode. But the thing that bothered me the most was the fact that Loki has so much access to his future before it happened. Now, for every time movie that I have watched, with Back to the Future being the best one, I don't care what anybody says. Back to the Future by far is one of the best ones because it introduced me to alternate timelines. And they explained it way better than here. You're telling me that Loki decides to escape. And when he escaped, he created an alternate timeline that branched another way. So what happened to that Loki that was supposed to stay there and get captured and taken to Asgard? You're telling me that there is a doppelganger somewhere on the same timeline that's going to fill in that hole? How is that even possible? So if you have that Loki that actually does escape and create an alternate timeline, it should affect the current timeline that was affected in a way. How are things supposed to be continuing without the person that's supposed to make that turn? That's the one thing that bugs me. How is that supposed to work? And I know there's some theoretical theories and stuff mixed in there. It still doesn't make any sense to me. If Loki was supposed to be taken to Asgard with Thor by being captured, and Loki decides to escape because the Hulk bundled the entire mission, then that means that that timeline that he left should have been affected as well. I don't know why the flow of time is going to continue when he's gone. That's the one thing that bothers me. So, how is Loki able to see his future if his future never happened yet? I know it's already happened with us because we've already seen that Loki continue, and we saw that Loki die in Infinity War. But you're telling me that they go in the past and it's not going to affect the present timeline if he goes in another direction? So that future will not even exist. That future should not even be there if he actually branches off. None of that makes sense at all to me. That's what made me confused. That's what made me not like that episode that much. And for them trying to make Loki sympathetic, you've already done that. There's really no need to try to make him a sympathetic villain because we've already seen that. So why are you trying to make him a sympathetic villain now when we've already seen that? He should have just stayed who he was and then let him grow from there. They gave him far too much access to his future for him to see what's going to happen to him, see what happened to his mother, see what happened to the bond with his brother. They allowed him to have so much access he didn't need to have. And I'm like, that doesn't affect anything in the timeline? Really? That doesn't create something else? Really? Other than that, that's what really made me confused about episode 1. And it just was annoying hearing about the time stuff. And it seemed like they were trying to cut off the fans of the past. And that bugged the crap out of me, seriously. But I digress. The episode itself, I guess, was supposed to be a start of something. I don't know. But then to be honest with you, the one thing that Loki did bring up that really did make a lot of sense to me is that how come Captain America wasn't arrested? Because Captain America was not mentioned by the judge, even though what Captain America did was a clear violation because he stayed behind, which makes me wonder, why was Cap so hidden? I don't know. Seeing how we saw a possible little glimpse of Peggy Carter coming out of a little portal, there could be a chance that Peggy got arrested and Cap just ran. It wouldn't be something that Cap would do, but it makes you wonder if he was reset. I'm just saying. But other than that, that's a whole nother theory for another time. And knowing Marvel, they're going to stop you before you even start making any more theories. But anyhow, the episode itself was really confusing. I was scratching my head far more than I needed to. I was overanalyzing things that I needed to. I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I wanted to give it a second chance, so I actually watched the second episode. This one was a little better. It was a lot better than the first one. Now that they decided to have him become a time cop for reasons, it was kind of interesting to see them go to different places and actually try to catch the variant instead of just sticking in the office. Now, the one thing that bugs me was the overall theory of the Loki variant getting caught up in apocalypses. Okay, that would be true if it was consistent throughout. If we actually found the dead time cops in an apocalypse or in an area that is going to be destroyed, then it would make sense for them to it would make sense for that theory to actually be proven true. But in my opinion, that's what the flawed part about it is. Because the first time you see Owen Wilson in episode 1, he was in a church. In a church where some dead time cops were before the whole thing was reset. So was that during an apocalyptic event? The same thing when they went to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and they went to a Renaissance fair for reasons. Was that an apocalyptic event? Was that where Loki was hiding out? But I will give them this. There was a really interesting theory, and that does make sense. For them to be able to do whatever they want during an apocalyptic event, and it would do nothing to the timeline because that event will still continue. That event will still do its job. So as long as the event is going to happen and that event is not going to stop, then it won't change anything. It's not going to create another branch. That makes sense. And honestly, I thought that was pretty smart. But leading on up to that didn't make any sense to me, because if the variant Loki was hiding out, why in the world would the Loki variant be hiding in a Renaissance fair in Wisconsin? That doesn't make any sense to me either. But at the very end, finding out that Lady Loki was going to be the one that actually was the variant that they were hunting for was interesting until I saw the hair, until I saw the broken horn. And another broken horn is a reference for, I guess, not Kid Loki maybe. But the fact is that Lady Loki does exist in the comics. I don't believe that's Lady Loki, because after seeing the credits shows that her name is Sylvie, and Sylvie is actually in Marvel Comics, but she's known as the Enchantress. So it's a possibility they might blend the two. There's a possibility that Lady Loki might absorb Enchantress, or vice versa, or what have you. But all this and what Lady Loki is doing, and I'm calling her that until I'm proven wrong, it doesn't make any sense. You're going to take a whole bunch of reset grenades. You're going to set them up in a mega mall. You're going to drop them all down. And you're going to change what maybe? And I saw like a whole list of all of the places that they actually did change. When it came to Asgard, it was also Volmir was there. Okay, so why is Lady Loki retconning everything? As much as I would love to turn off this series and not watch it again, they have a way to grab you in and keep you interested. So I am interested, and I never thought I would be. But now I'm curious to find out why she's trying to retcon everything. And honestly, I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen in episode 3. But as for this whole episode in itself, it was a lot better than the first one. So I'm not going to say it's bad, it's horrible, but it's getting more interesting as it goes on. I just hope I'm not let down. So if I honestly had to give it a star rating, episode 1 will probably get 2 stars. Episode 3 would get 3 stars. I hope I'm wrong. I really do want this to be a good series. They haven't really knocked it out of the park just yet, but I do want to be proven wrong here. I'm hoping it is going to become a good series. But other than that, you guys, let me know how you feel in the comments below. What do you think about Loki as a whole so far? And what do you think about episodes 1 and 2? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave in the comments below. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.